Thank you for tuning into the latest episode of the Splashcast, your go-to podcast for news and discussion in the world of sports. Still nothing from me.
Oh, no, we there. We live.
All right, we got sound. Thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you. Shout out to assistant Jasmine holding us down. We send you praises from Most High.
Praise ye the Lord. Shout it. Praise ye the Lord. Hopefully there's no echo. If there is, then I'm just going to have to edit it out later on. We appreciate you, Jasmine. You the homie. Well, I guess I need to turn this down now because now y'all can hear the echo from my phone.
Without you, none of this will be possible.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to our football segment of episode 170 of the Splashcast Monday Night Raw. As you can see, I got the Larry Tinsley Gospel Sunday or the Quiet Storm voice going because the allergies have hit. We had 70-degree day, then it was followed by a 40-degree day, all within 8 hours.
Oh, it's just 80 degrees every day here.
Oh, no, it's about to change. It's supposed to drop down to 26 degrees this week.
Then drop down and get your eagle on.
But y'all know what it is, Monday Night Raw. We always start out with the pregame. We didn't do that this week. We actually just started out with our HBCU. Okay. The screen just went black. That's fine. We troubleshooted some stuff. That was our pregame. We did some troubleshooting with Jasmine. Shout out Jasmine Conley. That's the name of our episode. Shout out Jasmine Conley.
Big Jazz. Not the little one, the big one.
But when it comes to football, we had college football, even though the season is over with. We got a few things we're going to talk about. And then, of course, we have pro football, which is what we're really going to get to. All right, so let's talk about the Super Bowl. Man, my voice going away. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. I'm not going to be able to yell, y'all, so I'm going to have this octave right here going.
Come on, Barry White.
Pre-game. Well, let's talk about it. President Trump announced Super Bowl is on Sunday. President Trump announced on Thursday that he would decided to attend the Super Bowl, which was absolutely insane because the amount of security and protocols that go in place totally change when the president is there. If you noticed, there weren't a lot of drone shots. I'm sure y'all didn't notice because we be having fun. Call me Don Cornelius. R.I.P. You notice there weren't a lot of drone shots. There weren't a lot of blimp shots. There weren't a lot of shots overhead of the field because allegedly when the president is at a game, they don't do drone shots. That's kind of safety protocol. So I think that took away from a lot of things, the broadcast, but as well as the halftime show. But it's funny that he got booed by everybody, though, and got middle fingers. That was funny. They called him, the whites were calling him a traitor.
That by my assumption, and I'm decent at math, not the best, but surely not the worst. If 1 and 1 make 2, then that means that everybody was calling him a traitor to a certain degree to somebody. But I guess the one thing that I did think about this is I think that this kept the foolishness at a much lower level. You ain't finna act out with the Secret Service. They gonna shoot again, clean up the site, and then maybe they'll ask questions. Maybe they won't. That's up to them and how they feel.
So, you pose a threat.
Yeah, so for me, I think that especially I wanted New Orleans to bounce back after what they had just dealt with, which I think that New Orleans did very well with the Super Bowl the whole weekend, the whole week leading up to it, weekend. They say that there was security out in different measures everywhere between like your beat cops. So they had some people flown in. There was police. It looked like military. They had a little bit of everything going on out there. So as much as I'm not the biggest fan of the current president, I think that his presence probably made things go at least relatively smoother because they're going to shoot your ass if you play down there. And since they already had dealt with something, they was gonna shoot your ass a lot of times.
Yeah, they weren't gonna lose
So
nothing.
that was cool. I
He
would
did
hate to
become
have
the
to be
first president to attend. First president to attend.
I think that I feel bad for the person who like has to plan the trips and do the security detail and all of that. I feel like he doesn't really listen. So you always kind of like in this, oh, well, we guess we're doing something different today than what I had planned. So I bet you that's stressful. But overall, he's just at the game. I didn't for sure care at all.
Nobody cared. They didn't really show him a lot either. I didn't see a lot of shots of Donald Trump at the game. They showed Taylor Swift more, and she got booed too. So, now the pregame.
You're right.
The pregame was fire. It showcased all of the New Orleans heritage. My family being from Louisiana, so I loved every minute of it. Southern University's band was everywhere. Let me tell you something. The Splashcast always says when you're white, you need to consult some black people about black culture. They definitely did that for this Super Bowl. Why? Because they brought Southern. Grambling is a world famed band too. But if you know anybody from Louisiana or you from Louisiana, you know there is a dividing line. That's called North Louisiana and South Louisiana. You weren't going to bring no North Louisiana band to South Louisiana to represent Louisiana. Wasn't going to happen.
Fair.
Can't happen.
I didn't even think about that, but now that you kind of bring that up, very valid point.
You ain't going to happen.
Point. You shouldn't. You surely shouldn't.
You should.
And you
but
probably
Southern was great. The intro was fantastic. I love that they had a mixture of black and white New Orleans natives to do the intros and the intro concerts. I didn't like the song of Lady Gaga, but I understand why they did it because to honor all of those that died during that terrorist attack. But overall, it was super fire. It was super black. Super black. Started off with Lift Every Voice and Sing. It was fantastic.
Definitely well done. I'm once again, I'm happy that New Orleans was able to get in and get out without foolishness.
Oh, MVP of the weekend. Snoop Dogg got MVP of the Paris Olympics. Jameis Winston got MVP of the weekend for the Super Bowl.
I was about to say Reggie. Reggie, have you?
Oh, no, we know where Snoop Dogg at.
Hey,
that line is he all the way past the line now.
Jameis, we gotta really. If they haven't identified that Jameis should have his own television show, and I'm not talking about a podcast, I'm talking about he needs to be on daytime television. He is one of the most engaging, entertaining people across all spectrums. And he always leads with love and positivity, which is rare. And it's not many times when we have people who really are that nice and are always having that much fun, it seems a little disingenuous. Seems like we kind of look at Russell Wilson. Broncos country, let's ride. Like it's a little cheesy.
Yeah.
But Jameis has this infectious personality where you just like, he's having a really good time. And I'm watching him have a good time. And if I was there, I would want to be with Jameis having a really good time.
Yeah, so, Jameis was upworthy. Jameis has definitely the thing that all our athletes from our generation are doing is setting themselves up for after sports. Jameis is going to be, I said it in the group chat, and I'm saying it now. Jameis is going to be our generation's George Foreman. He's going to end up having his own church. He's going to sell something or a lot of somethings. And he's going to end up being everywhere.
Happily.
Yeah, the support. Got to. So Jameis
he's a
is
person
that guy.
Who I feel like most of us will happily support. Every time we saw him, we was like, look at Jameis. He having a time out of this. And still doing the job as an entertainer, broadcaster, interviewer, all of it. He whatever he was asked to do, he did.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, there's the halftime show. We'll get to the game after we talk about this. What are your thoughts on the halftime show with Kendrick Lamar?
Y'all ain't gonna like what I got to say.
No, go ahead.
I think that I think that the show was good. Kendrick Lamar did his typical. He's a showman. He put on a really good show. He put all of his uh like hieroglyphics. You know how he has the hidden message everywhere,
Hieroglyphics.
where he had that the whole thing is built into a PlayStation controller, which is Sony, of course, and of course Drake music is from Sony. So he had his digs, or he had uh Serena Williams crip walking in the X as she is his ex. All of those like small things, that the Easter eggs, he nailed those. All of those was just everything. The red, white, and blue. First thing I saw, which was hidden but it was visible, was Samuel Jackson being Uncle Sam. Like all of those hidden meanings, he knocked it out of the park for me. I like that part because you got to be smart to get it. I don't know if, to me, the performance was as big and grandiose as I would have liked it to be. And I also don't feel like he really stomped Drake out like I would have liked to see, and how I felt like Drake would have stomped him out given the opportunity. Like
um,
for me, the whole they like to sue. I'm putting that into the writer, into the budget. It's a lawsuit coming from this. I ain't gonna do but one Super Bowl. So if I'm gonna do a Super Bowl, I'm gonna set it on fire. And if there's y'all pay the
oh, you
toll.
mean
I'm
headline?
rich.
He was definitely
Yeah,
there like 2 years ago.
yeah. No, no,
Um,
no. But this is his Super Bowl. And if it's mine, if I offend a light skinned dude from Canada, then be offended. I'm gonna set you on fire because I feel like given the other opportunity. Oh, Drake. If it was me,
so
if it was me, that show would have looked like Pop Out and Friends. We would.
so so that's I like the show. I like the PlayStation controller, Sony. I didn't get that. I got Squid Games. So part of part of the reason I brought up the drones earlier, he had a lot of messages that were going through the crowd. Squid Games is about the rich killing the poor. I think on one of his sets, or one of the songs, he had "We're Going the Wrong Way," where the crowd lit up wrong way. Like there were a lot of hidden meanings that you couldn't see from the overhead views. One, two, it was a great show. I'm really, really, really good. Y'all know I'm a Kendrick fan, and I love Easter eggs. This show would have been fantastic at the Forum, or at Phillips Arena, or the Tabernacle, or the Atrium. That show was it was really good, and the energy he needed would have been really good at a smaller venue. It's very difficult to carry a commercial Super Bowl type show by yourself with a whole lot of Easter eggs, because the crowd is drunk and high. So they're not even going to try to find out what your Easter eggs are.
And you're moving so fast, and it's not like the Pop Out where everybody's trying to watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we get this, we get this. No, I mean people. That's the time people going to use the bathroom. People trying to eat. I was at a bar, like so. It
But what I did like, I don't know if he knew that Trump was going to be there and he changed it, or Trump was going to be there and he just said F it. There were a lot of digs at Trump. The whole flag with the stripes and him staring at Trump's press box. The whole going down the wrong way, the Squid Games, rich killing the poor. There were a lot of shots at Trump, and I'm sure that none of them caught it. But that would have been better at a smaller venue. And if you're going to, I'm going to say this as a Kendrick stan and lover of his music, Lil Wayne would have been better, because Lil Wayne has more crossover hits. And Kendrick Lamar likes to perform by himself. The pop out was one thing because he was bringing everybody else out there and trying to unify California. But if you go look at Kendrick Lamar for a lot of parts, unless it's him and Baby Keem or whoever he's on tour with, it's normally just him. The Super Bowl, you should bring out somebody, especially in New Orleans. There's too many people to not bring out. I mean, they had Big Frida rapping in the pregame. You have Master P. You have Cash Money, Young Money. You got Trombone Shorty. You have so many opportunities to highlight the culture of New Orleans with Lil Wayne headlining.
Variety and talent.
With Lil Wayne headlining, I think that would have been a better show for the people. And Lil Wayne would have brought out guests, because I do think Lil Wayne struggles at performing now. But you would have had so many other people there.
I don't know that. I don't know. I don't like to put that on.
It's true. I've been to a couple of concerts.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I think that if you put Lil Wayne on a Super Bowl stage, Lil Wayne shows up in a different way than he does at the rest of these concerts. Unless you're asking me to do that, then I'm not going to give you a Super Bowl show.
I mean, that's fair. That's fine. But nothing, if I'm the Super Bowl staff, nothing I saw would make me give him that without the stipulation of like a Cali type thing where I would have done Cash Money, Lil Wayne and Cash Money, or Lil Wayne and New Orleans All-Stars, and he brings out Master P and all of them. He honors Soulja Slim. He does all of those things in order to highlight New Orleans culture. I think they dropped the ball on this, personally. And I like Kendrick. I like the whole thing. I would have, if he does this in Atlanta, I'm going to see it every time, and I give a standing ovation. At the Super Bowl, I was like,
y'all won't believe what I just saw, but it's like,
But yeah, he kicked Drake down, and I do like that he kind of put an exclamation mark or a period on the ending of the beef pause. Well, I don't think he's gonna address Drake anymore. I think Drake might address him.
Drake just put something out today, say the beef ain't dead. I ain't dead.
Yeah, well, that's fine, Drake. But you can't be walking to the stage with a smoking hoodie. That look corny.
Yes, you can. He's notoriously done something crazy. I mean, that's the reason that, like, when you put Drake is a stadium guy. That means that part of it is, it's not just me going and perform. Yes, it is everything. That's the reason that, I mean, I'll be completely honest. I think the person who really should have gotten it, and I would have preferred to see more than everybody, still Travis Scott. I don't think that right now there is a person on this planet who puts together a show, a football stadium show, better than Travis Scott.
Yeah, he took the Kanye route. He spends most of his budget from the album on the tour, which is fire. I mean, I believe you.
But he puts on, when he goes on tour, he puts on a Super Bowl show.
Mm-hmm.
That flying stage with the mirrors and the man, yeah.
And the roller coaster and all of that stuff. Yeah, it's
right.
Fire. Yeah.
Right. I know that, he had the whole situation with the concert out here. So he might not be the most popular, but Jay, it's his time, dog. Give it to him. Let him do it.
Yep. All right. Let's talk about some football. Super Bowl. Matchup.
Oh, there's a game.
Matchup. Chiefs going for 3-peat. Won a close games all year. Eagles had an up and down year, even though they were the number one team, offense and defense, in the league. Probably the number 2 team in the NFC behind, or number 2 or 3 team behind the NFC North, basically. Patrick Mahomes was trying to solidify himself as the number 2 quarterback of all time. D-Hop and Hollywood and all of those other guys were trying to get their first ring. The Eagles had questions at quarterback. They had the illness go through the team. Uh, so, and honestly, I picked the Eagles to win, but everybody was hesitant because Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. But in my heart of hearts, I knew that this game had the potential to be the Tampa Bay Kansas City game all over again, because the Eagles defense is like that. When they're all healthy and focused, they are like that. And let me tell you, they dominated from the pregame, the march out, when they had dude from Hangover spell out the Eagles, and the whole stadium said EAGLES
Bradley
Eagles.
Cooper.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper.
And thank y'all for spelling it right this time, because I've seen too many times
SLES. I mean, like, bro, Eagles kicking y'all ass.
It ain't even that many letters. I'm glad we don't have to spell Falcons, boy. Y'all might lose that too. The world
we don't
may
need to
never
spell
know.
it anyway. But the Eagles absolutely destroyed Kansas City from the opening game, from the opening drive. Controversial penalty to stifle the first drive. And I looked at it and I was like, yes, controversial penalty, but Philly was just moving like a hot knife through butter. And
Let
didn't
me
look
say
good.
this. Let me say this about that, and I'm gonna leave it here. Dog, if the wide receiver and cornerback are hand fighting, that's fine. What you cannot do as a receiver is slap the cornerback in the face mask and then catch the ball. They're gonna call that. And as a person who's played cornerback, who's only for a small portion because of things like this, is if you slap me in the head, I can't see the ball anymore. You know where the ball is going. I can't touch you after 5 yards. These are the biggest and fastest people on the field. And yes, they don't allow you to slap me in the head too.
Yeah, I think that there is a emphasis on receivers getting away with things. When it comes, I've always said this: an offensive player can grab a defensive player by the face mask and pull them to the ground if they have the ball in their hands. If a defensive player does the same thing the offensive players do, there's nothing that you can do. If a defensive player does what the offensive player does, it's a penalty. I'm happy that they made that call. Turned out it didn't really matter. I have never seen a D-line dominate like this in the Super Bowl. Not like this. The Giants, Tom Brady, they were good, but they still needed a miracle to win the game. Tampa Bay was good, but they weren't like this, even when they beat Patrick Mahomes. I wasn't alive to see the 84 Bears, so I don't know. But this right here was utter domination. I haven't seen Mahomes that flustered in a long time. Nope, not the Bucks.
Well,
the Bucks defense was good. No, you're right. Bucks 2002 against the Raiders. Yep, but they cheated. They took the coach came from the Raiders to the Bucks and he knew the whole offense. I don't count that. This was just a thorough ass kicking from beginning to end.
So for me, there are a couple things. You could clearly see that the Eagles were just a better team. The Chiefs had been mostly just getting by on being a team that had been together for a really long time and kind of knew these things. I think that their offensive line has clearly been shown to not be as thorough as it used to be. I'm just going to say what I believe here. I think that Jarek was missed in this game. Consistently, when Jarek was the person blocking and making sure that he was safe, he had an extra moment or two. I don't feel like this was present, because the one thing that was kind of been pushed around everywhere was they didn't blitz. And the fact that they were being able to get this pressure and not blitzing is extremely problematic. You weren't sending pressure. This is just your standard 4-man rush getting it done consistently. So for me, I think they're going to have to look at some things. Their offensive line has to be a place of It has to be a place of emphasis. And that was always my thing early in the game was why I don't think that they went down the field early enough for me
Who
to
is
give
the Chiefs?
Kansas City. I think that had they gone down, and sometimes you're throwing a ball not to be completed. You're throwing a ball to show them that I'm going to open this playbook up, and y'all are going to have to back up. And I don't think that they waited long enough to do that. I think they waited too long to do that, in my opinion.
I 100% disagree. I think if Jared, first of all, shout out to Jared, you definitely were missed on this team all year. In this game, you weren't missed because you wouldn't have made a difference. That 4 down linemen and being able to rotate 8 players, this is basically a college roster. And they got 6 sacks, which tied the record. Jalen Carter didn't even have a sack or a tackle the whole game. Josh Sweat ate the O-line alive. Mahomes was scared in the pocket from the second drive on. Rightfully so. And you said that they couldn't go down. They couldn't go down the field. Well, when you get pressure with 4 and don't have to blitz, and you can stop. Not only did they, and I was getting to that, Worthy, not only did they get pressure with 4 to stop the pass, they got pressure with 4 to stop the run. Zach Braun still had 7 tackles. He had 3 assists. So it's not the linebackers were able to just sit back. Jordan Davis ate 3 blockers up the whole game. So they were.
But that's what I'm saying. If you have a running back that's better at blocking, then he can chip. I don't think there was enough of that. I didn't see enough of it.
I don't think they could have. But and also Kansas City was flustered from the beginning. You had drop passes by Hopkins. You had drop passes by Hollywood. You had the INT. I knew the game was pretty much over when he threw the ball to Cooper DeJean. He got Patrick Mahomes got hit with the they all look alike. He thought Cooper DeJean was Blankenship. And the way that they had it stacked, Blankenship was right behind DeJean, and DeJean kind of hid behind and then just stayed there. And I was like, oh, I see why he didn't see him. Threw it right to him, and that was a pick 6.
Right.
Once it got to 17-0, that they couldn't run the ball no more. And yeah, Kelsey did drop a couple. They couldn't run the ball no more. And now, if you can't run the ball against a team that can rush the passer, we ain't even got to call no defense. Zone. Cover 3 zone. And y'all just go get you don't have to honor the run for what? Y'all down 17-0. And then they were down 24-0 because they had the other interception on. They had an interception on back-to-back, 2 interceptions in 3 plays. This reminded me, no shade. It's going to be shade, but I don't mean it to be. That 2021 game against Florida where Georgia scored 21 points in 31 seconds to basically put the game out of reach. That's what happened. You had the pick 6. You had the interception that made it 17. And then you had A.J. Brown 24-0. Kansas City was flustered. And then when they got the 3 and out to start the half, I was like, oh, yeah, well, y'all kiss that goodbye. At the
end of the day, they're just not. The Chiefs are a good team that's kind of been getting by. But when you finally play a team that kind of matches up with you top to bottom, that's where you get exposed.
And that's what you get, Travis Kelce, you bum. I told you shouldn't be talking about Louisiana the way you did. To call gumbo brown soup, I was like, that voodoo. I got in the group like, yeah, they going to get beat down today. As my grandma said, they going to put that wood on you. And they did. They put that voodoo on them.
But, I mean, what do you expect from somebody from Ohio? That is like...
Yeah, you can keep your Brunswick stew up there, brother. We don't want none of that crap. But yeah.
Brunswick stew is from Brunswick, Georgia. So that ain't it either.
That ain't good. Okay. But I don't know what they know. I don't know what y'all eat in Ohio. But F it.
Chili.
But yeah, I knew they were going to lose. What do you think about Jalen Hurts being MVP?
He did it. And one thing that I will give him credit for is he's talked about it all season. And I don't care about these stats. I'm measured by W's. And once again, when it was time to get a W, who came up with it?
The defense.
He went 17 to 22 for 221 yards. And he dropped. Hey, AJ Brown had excellent foot placement, but he was putting it where only AJ Brown could get to it too.
AJ Brown had 3 catches. Yes, Josh Sweat should have been MVP. The only reason they gave the MVP, in my opinion, to Jalen Hurts is because you couldn't give it to multiple players on the defense. Really, the defensive line, specifically Josh Sweat, as well as with my other guy that had 2.5, that Hunt, as well as Milton Williams. Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, and Cooper DeJean probably could have shared the MVP, in my opinion. Jalen Hurts leading the team in rushing, that's good and bad. No, it's not good. That's bad. That means they held Saquon Barkley to 57 carries on 57 yards on 27 carries. Jalen Hurts played a hell of a game. Jalen Hurts is a hell of a game manager. Jalen Hurts has found his Alabama. This team is built like college Alabama. They got everybody under there. They have, yes, Howie Roseman is Super Bowl MVP.
Fair. I'll give you that because he put together a gauntlet of a team.
So I get Jalen Hurts being there, being an MVP, because you really couldn't give it to anybody else. But, I don't believe he should have won it. But shout out to him. That's a small issue when you won the Super Bowl. And it does, as Cam said, it's not bad to be a game manager, right? You still have to manage the game. When they needed a pass, they needed a knockout blow, he threw a beautiful pass to Devontae Smith. Beautiful. But they were going to win that game whether he was the quarterback or not. That defense was going to win that game whether he was there or not, which if that's the case, then he shouldn't be the MVP, in my opinion.
I'm okay with it.
I'm not okay with it. It's cool. I'm not mad at it because you couldn't give it to multiple people. You can't give the whole defense an MVP. But, right. I mean,
and that defense is so many people. It's literally talk about everybody.
So, they're picked to win 2026 too.
That's not what I saw. I saw Chiefs and Baltimore.
Why? I'm telling you what I saw. The Eagles are picked to win again.
I'm telling you, I agree. I don't know why they would pick them, but that's what I saw.
Oh, that's for clicks. That's for talks. That's for all of that. Let me tell you, they have literally flipped their roster. Now they do lose Kellen Moore, so you got to get a new offensive coordinator. But that defense has Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. They probably lose Josh Sweat, but they got Nolan Smith now. They got Nakobe Dean, who had 134 tackles this year. You have Elias Ricks, who was undrafted, who had a hell of a – I actually wanted the Falcons to trade for him if we could. Just sitting in the bench, just waiting. They have Keely Ringo, who's probably going to convert himself to safety, who runs a 4.25, just sitting on the bench. You have Lewis Seen, number 1 draft pick from Minnesota, who broke his leg, but he's back. Oh, and now apparently they got Josh Sweat back either. They have literally everybody but their linebackers under contract, except for Josh Braun. And Braun, I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves because he's going to end up getting a bag, and I don't know if you can pay everybody. But they have all of those people, their cores, not talking about Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, and Jalen and Dallas Goedert. All of them are under contract. I think Goddard might have to be re-up, but they got them other 4 under contract, plus the O-line. They got Mekhi Becton under contract. So it's like they got 80% of their productivity coming back. Plus, they have 9 draft picks in this upcoming draft. 9.
And we sitting over here with
Plus,
4.5.
they have $20 million in cap space with 0 holes to fill. Pause. So they're going to end up getting rid of James Bradbury. That's going to give them another $4 million. They're going to end up getting.
Brandon
they may
Graham's
end
gonna
up.
retire.
They're going to get rid of Brandon Graham. That's going to give them another $4 million. All of this stuff is like $4 million. Then they're going to end up either restructuring Darius Slay, or Darius Slay is going to leave or get cut because you don't really need him. So they're going to have around 30. They're going to have around 30, 34 million, maybe even 40 million once they make all the cuts and moves to go out and sign somebody. We're going to talk about this now because, no, we're not. I'm just going to bring this up and we'll get to free agency after we talk about the Chiefs. But they'll have 30 million in order to sign people. There are 2 people that have requested trades, Myles Garrett and Deebo Samuel. Could you imagine this team with Myles Garrett, Nolan Smith, Myles Garrett, Josh Sweat, Jalen Carter, and Jordan Davis? Can you imagine that team? 1, on defense. 2, could you imagine this offense? Let me tell you the base offense. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, your 5 offensive linemen. That means you have 1 more place. Your slot receiver being Deebo Samuel.
Deebo not going there. He not gonna get enough touches.
You'll get a Super Bowl.
No, don't do that.
You're that's a guaranteed Super Bowl. You can't guard anybody. You can't guard nobody if he goes to that team.
I understand what you're saying. I don't think that Deebo Samuels is going to Philly. I think that he's probably more interested in going to Kansas City than going to Philly, to be completely honest with you. It just makes more sense. But
Kansas City ain't got. Well, we'll get to it. The fact that they have all of this flexibility, they could go and they could trade for Myles Garrett because they got 9 draft picks.
With 9 draft picks, you also don't have 9 guys that you really need. But you drafted so well that you're better off picking your 9 guys than even consolidating. Nope.
Oh, man, like the Thunder.
Because, yeah, the money, like, there is going to get to a point where the money is going to get tricky. So the best thing I can do is continue to draft. It's clear what to do. Just draft people from Georgia. Just all of them. What y'all got that's available? Give me those. Oh, they already know the.
Yeah, this was a UGA infomercial for recruiting.
And that's the one place where I get a little upset. It's like, hey, I hate the team now, but I ain't stupid. And I done told y'all for the last couple years, especially not this year, but the year before.
Yeah, with all these guys.
As happy as I am with Bijan, and I am happy. I told y'all to get that dude. He changed.
Jalen Carter. Yeah.
I told you. I said, hey, no.
Bruh, I forgot y'all had Huff. Oh, my God. They have so much flexibility. Go ahead.
And yeah.
They got dudes. They would get productivity out of dudes I never heard of in this game.
Who is Dotson? Who the is Dotson? We in the bar, and they said, I don't know who that is. I said, me neither.
He came from the Commanders. They cut him, and they traded him. And he went there.
Josh Dotson from
Jahan Dotson. Yeah, from Penn State.
Jahan, that's his name.
Yeah, from Penn State. Fast dude. I was like, oh, they throwing to him? I said, it's over with. Now for the Chiefs, they have a little bit more of some work to do in the offseason. They got a lot of free agents, including Nick Bolton. They're basically going to have to retool this. They're going to have to retool this wide receiver core, minus Xavier Worthy, who started. Now, y'all need to be nervous because he's starting to figure out how to play receiver with Patrick Mahomes.
Buffalo, you did that. You did it. Nobody asked you to do it. You decided to be stupid. and he had 8 receptions for 57 yards, something like that. Man, and all he did was make the rest of y'all look expendable.
Yeah, boy, he
And,
ran down the
hey,
field.
hey, Hollywood, you're fired. Hopkins, Debo said he want to play football, and there's the reason I say Debo to Kansas City is Debo is both a running back and a wide receiver, and Andy Reid will have a field day.
With Debo Samuel. Yeah.
Jet sweep, Astro motion, everything. Just make it. Just go run in a circle real fast, and then we're gonna throw you the ball. Debo will actually be the apps. There's not a more perfect player for Kansas City. Hopkins, pay cut or dip.
They ain't getting none of the receivers coming back except for Worthy. Unless, because the money that they're going to spend is on offensive line. They've got to flip the 2 tackles immediately. And they probably have to re-sign a guard somewhere. You're going to have to move Thuney, who's a top 3 guard in the league, back to guard. They have
Right.
they have survived on Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce for 6 years. And
That ain't
even when they won last year, we were like, damn, they won with that terrible offensive line. Even when then they lost to Tampa Bay because that terrible offensive line, which is one of the greatest performances by a quarterback I've ever seen in a losing effort. So they're going to spend all their money on O-line and possibly wide receiver. But they got to sign Nick Bolton. He's one of the best linebackers in the league, probably number 3. You got to re-sign Justin Reed. And make no mistake about it, the score is 40-22, but this team played a hell of a game. They only gave up like 3. They only gave up 3 big plays. They gave up the touchdown to A.J. Brown, which technically wasn't a big play, but it was a change of possession. They gave up the deep pass to Devontae, and they gave up the deep pass to John Dotson. Outside of that, they held Saquon down, but they had to start blitzing in order to try to get the ball back, and that's when the Eagles exposed them in the second half.
That's the one thing that I think ended up being their downfall is they were committed. They said, clearly Spagnuolo said, I tell you who won't beat me, Saquon Barkley. And by not letting Saquon get loose, you was fighting an uphill battle. And as a battle, the battle is not yours. You have to get that to the Lord.
And then, the uphill battle was the defense. I mean, the defense for the Eagles responsible for 21 points. 17. The score was 40-22. 17 minus 40 minus 17 is 23.
No. 40 minus 17 is an ass whooping. There was never a point where, and I'm out with people, and I'm telling y'all, I'm telling them like, hey man, y'all got to chill out now. I'm an Atlanta fan. I've seen this start one way and end another way, but Kansas City they could never get their engine to roll over, and that ended up. By the time that they looked like anything, the game was well in hand at that point. Confidence was shot by there.
What's interesting is the Eagles are a field goal away from winning 2 of the last 3, if you think about it, because they lost 38-35 to the Chiefs in the first time they played. I'm going to give you the floor because you were very, very vocal all year about Philadelphia not being who we thought they were. You were very, very vocal.
Hey, they showed up. Now, I will say that, and what I kind of been saying about the Chiefs all season is, like, y'all keep winning, but y'all just getting by.
Let's not make it about the Chiefs, though. Talk about the Eagles and how you said about the Eagles.
What I'm saying is the Eagles are clearly the better team, and that sliding by Kansas City, that laughing your way out of an ass whooping is over. That team, in that moment, they were prepared and they executed top to bottom. Sometimes that day they had it. They looked like the best team in the NFL. I don't think that they looked that way all season. I don't think they looked that way when I saw them play against the Atlanta Falcons. But
They
that
didn't.
team in
They
the
talked
Super
about it.
that team in the Super Bowl looked like the best team in the NFL. They look like hell. I'll be honest. They look like one of the best teams that I've seen play a Super Bowl in recent era. To be
Yeah, they
completely
looked
honest,
amazing. Yeah.
I mean,
And the Chiefs shot
sometimes
themselves
you
in the foot too. They
right,
they stopped
and
them 3 times to stop the momentum and kept getting these penalties.
they kept dropping the damn ball. The Chiefs looked shook. To be completely honest, the Chiefs looked like they never had their head in the game. Travis Kelce, not enough, not nearly enough. Running game, non-existent. Wide receivers who we have been waiting on to get healthy all season, non-existent. Just it wasn't enough of anything as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, they whooped their ass, top to bottom, beginning to end.
Yeah. It was ugly. So
Like
shout out to the Eagles.
it wasn't even a game that was interesting. I mean, they just got their ass whooped for the whole game.
And the Eagles whooped that. The Eagles were so good. I think the fact that this roster proved that they were so good. They went, like Mike said, they went 16-1 since the bye week, and they was full of controversy because they weren't winning as convincingly as we thought they should, which is a testament again to Howie. Howie just got himself inducted into the Hall of Fame. If there was ever a doubt, it's in there. He's in the Hall of Fame now.
But that's the thing where we always knew that this roster this is what we expected the Detroit Lions to look like, to be completely honest.
Well, I mean, they did. They just got hurt.
Until they didn't. You're right. But what I'm saying is they were elite at every level, and this time everybody looked elite. Everybody did their job. And that's some of it too, is you got to put it together at the right time. You put it together at the wrong time, then shit, it don't mean nothing. But when they needed it.
Yeah, but Detroit just got hurt. Like, I mean, Aiden Hutchinson's leg turned into a leg broke. That's not funny.
But I mean, they just put everything together at the right time. Everything came together at the right time, and they did what was needed. And nothing you can say, but hey, good fucking job.
Atlanta Falcons, take note. I went back and looked at the drafts. The Eagles draft at least a D lineman and an O lineman every year. Don't matter if they got it or not. They draft a D lineman or O lineman every single year.
I feel like the Falcons do too.
Yeah, but we be trying to be like the Patriots.
Bergeron from Syracuse, who was a good pickup. I mean, the answer is draft the people from University of Georgia. I've been telling y'all that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy we got a quarterback, but the answer is draft the guys from University of Georgia. That's what they've been doing. It ain't rocket fucking science. It's simple.
Yeah.
That's the part that made me mad.
That's the end of the football season, NFL football season for us. Now we get into some foolishness.
Wait, hold on. There was a little bit more stuff that I wanted to cover. I wanted to highlight Devontae Smith and his elite career management. He has a Heisman. He has a Super Bowl. He's checked a lot of boxes really fast. Hold on, here it is right here.
And it was told he has
5th player in history to win a Heisman, to win a national championship, and a Super Bowl. And you're right. That's exactly what they said. Hey, this kid is too small.
Yeah, shout out to him, man. And he scored and said, he from Amity, Louisiana. which is if you go to New Orleans and you start right before you get to the bridge, you see these turnoffs. It's like Spaghetti Junction type thing. It'd be like Boogaloo,
Right.
Amity, and you start going to different places that you know if you don't know nobody, you don't really need to go.
Right.
Where everybody related type thing.
He's also the first person in Alabama history to score in the Super Bowl. Congratulations to him.
Which is
they
wild.
Had Amber Lockwood.
That's a wild
right.
stat.
They had Amber Lockwood. She is the first Black woman to coach and win a Super Bowl. Congratulations to her. What else here? I think they also really pissed the Eagles off talking about that 3-peat shit.
Yeah. They took it as a slap in the face.
Yeah, you wait. Hey, what you say? You ahead of your skis right now. You're planning the party and have not won the game yet. And then also we have to, before we get out of here, revisit the trade for trading Carson Wentz away from the Eagles. 2021, that allowed them to get Devontae Smith. 2022, that allowed them to trade for A.J. Brown. 23-24, that allowed them to acquire Jalen Carter and Cooper DeJean. Literally built the team on Carson Wentz. And then Carson Wentz is the backup quarterback for who? The Kansas City Chiefs. So after they traded you away, built this team on your assets, you had to sit there and watch your quarterback, because you're never going to be the starter quarterback in Kansas City, get destroyed. Everything is your fault.
Yeah, he took it with grace, though. He was there, and he stayed on the field when they scored. He stayed on the field when they got the trophy.
Should have said grace, because they ate y'all for lunch.
Well, you know. And, I mean, shout out to knowing when to cut bait. Hopefully it works out the same with the Falcons, too.
Hey, Splashcast fans. Are you ready to take your obsession to the next level? Join the Splashcast community on Instagram and our own Facebook page for an immersive experience like never before. Get in on the action with lively discussions, fiery debates, and a community that's as passionate as you are. Our social media platforms are buzzing with the latest podcast news, exclusive updates, and behind-the-scenes sneak peeks. Don't miss out on the chance to connect with fellow Splashcast enthusiasts. Dive into the conversation, share your thoughts, and be part of something bigger. Find us on Instagram and Facebook, or go to www.splashcast.com to join now.
That's my joint. I was listening to that earlier. That's my joint, real quick.
Which one?
Feeling All Right by King Madi. It's tough. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our final segment of episode 178 of the Splashcast Monday Night Raw, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. Right there. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Basketball.
Wild week.
Let me tell y'all, we took 1 week off, or I took 1 week off, and the basketball world exploded. I was in deep sleep at 11:30 p.m. in a space where I wasn't really supposed to have my phone. And Norwood knew where I was and knew not to call me because of where I was. Let me tell you, at 11:31, let me tell you who called me with no remorse and said, hey, I understand you sleep, but Luka Doncic to the Lakers.
I'm going to tell you, I was sitting here at my house. That had to be Saturday. The trade was on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I know it was on Saturday because I was at the house. And I gone out and had a little time, light fade. A couple people at the house, we kicking it, drinking it, having a time. I look at my phone.
Shams.
It was so crazy. I told them, I said, hey, y'all look at y'all phone and tell me what y'all see. I ain't gonna trust mine. I know my phone got to be lying to me. It's got to be a lie. I just sat here and ain't no way in hell. Not on my bingo card, not on my fantasy football league, no place that I think that would ever happen. And sure enough, and then it's so bad, it was so crazy. And we're talking about the Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic trade. If you've been asleep or in a coma for the last, I don't know how long. I just didn't believe it. Shams had to put out a report and let people know that no, I was not hacked.
No, I was not hacked. This is real. Because you called me and I was like, all right, hold on. Let me sit up. Let me understand what you're saying right now. You said Luka Doncic to the Lakers.
I don't like that the NBA is so 24 hours because it's very difficult in the dead of sleep to conceptualize things.
Yes.
Like and I do think that this was an owner to owner trade. I don't think that.
So this was a GM to GM trade. So how the trade came to fruition?
Oh, I guess you're right. You're right. But
the Lakers GM, Rob Pelinka, and the Mavs GM, Nico, what's his last name? Harris? Collins. Nico Collins.
Nico Harrison. You're right.
Yeah, Collins plays for the Texans. Nico Harrison and Rob Pelinka had a secret meeting where they were just having breakfast or lunch or whatever. And Nico
coffee. He floated it out there.
Said, hey, what would you give up for Luka? Rob Pelinka said, yeah, right, sure, whatever. You're not going to give up Luka. Just tell me what you do.
Stop. You want to know why he said that? Because no reasonable human with any amount of brain power would do that, because if you do that, then people are going to start considering attempting to murder you and calling you an idiot. Like what
happened? Not to mention, Luka just took you to, Rob Pelinka was like, Luka just took you to the Western Conference, to the finals. I'm sorry, not the Western Conference, to the finals. Like, this can't be real. And then Nico, and this is how poor of a negotiator he is, started telling on himself and said, we don't like Luka because he's overweight. We don't like Luka because he's difficult to deal with, and we don't want to pay him $364 million for a Supermax.
One moment. The best player in the NBA right now is overweight. You want to know why nobody cares? Because he's winning games. Joker. Overweight. Out of shape. He's not in nobody's shape. And you wouldn't consider, you wouldn't be like, you know what? You think, hey, anybody tapping Joker on the shoulder, hey, we need you to hit that treadmill. Boy, if you don't go to hell talking to me, I have 30, 15, and 15 tonight if I want to, if I really want to, and I'm shooting like 40% from three. So the stupid ass Mavericks trade Luka for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is how old, Reggie? 32 years old? Mm-hmm. And we would assume Anthony Davis to be past his prime at 32 years old.
Theoretically, he's in his prime. I don't think he ever really, I don't even know if he ever actually really had a prime, because he's been hurt literally every year since he decided to leave the New Orleans, since he was in New Orleans.
But let me tell you this. I'm not interested in a guy who we can't even establish his prime because he's always hurt, for a guy who has been elite since the day that he walked. Not even since he got in the NBA.
Since he was in Spain.
Yeah, since he was the MVP of the second best league in the world.
At 14. Or 16. 16.
All of them teams. Beating on grown men. And you're going to trade him for Anthony Davis.
Max Christie, who's going to turn out to be the better trade value when it's all said and done.
He's going to be out of there. You're going to have to trade him again.
And one pick. And the fact that you didn't tell anybody. Jason Kidd looked like he wanted to put hands and feet on Nico in that press conference.
He's out of there.
He looked straight ahead the whole time. Except for one time.
What does Jason Kidd's future look like in Dallas now? Kyrie, who's past his prime. AD, who we cannot distinguish his prime. And for the listeners who once again have been in a coma for the last 2 weeks, Anthony Davis is hurt with no timetable for return.
Strained adductor.
Why, if I'm Jason Kidd, what is keeping me in Dallas? I'd rather honestly go back to Brooklyn, at least have assets. Let me coach the Nets.
And then Rob Pelinka hustled you because it came out that they had a better offer on the table. They're going to give up like
Right.
3 first-round picks, Dalton Connect, AD. They're going to basically give him the house for Luka. And they couldn't get Luka on the phone. And Pelinka played off that and the fact that Nico told on himself and said that, oh, he's overweight and all this thing and they don't get along with him. Well, now, I ain't got to get you nothing now. So I'll give you AD. And you said you didn't win defense. You win championships with defense, but you got to win championships with players on the court. Max Christie in a first. The Lakers' first is 2031 is the pick they gave him. That's 6 years from now.
And you get to offload always injured Anthony Davis, which, let's be real here. We were all kind of waiting on the Lakers' demise because the demise was guaranteed in 3 years. LeBron is going to retire. AD ain't going to be 35 and he's going to be a shell of himself. If he can still play basketball at any level, they had no answer other than, let's stoop down with worn out tools and find something new. You know what they don't have to do now? Any of that. They just created the NBA is looking for the face of the league. Let me tell you, that face is Luka Doncic. He is the best player in the best market, and he's an international player. He checks all of the boxes that Adam Silver is looking for. And I don't have to deal with Ja Morant wearing a fucking shiesty mask on the bench and throwing $1 million in a strip club, pointing finger guns at people, punching small children. Give me Luka. And it's LA. We got the Ozempic for the LO. He'll be skinny in 60 days. He'll be looking like Al Roker.
Yeah. And the way that you handled it, doing this move in the dark, you alienated Mark Cuban, who I'm assuming backed you. Jason Kidd, who you said is probably going to leave. Kyrie Irving stated, I'm in mourning. I lost my best friend on the team. As he said, I learned his language. Luka just bought a $15 million house and had his first child there. And for all that's been said and done, and what he's done in L.A., donating $500,000 to the fire victims, he's a pillar of the community. You don't really hear anything. Now, I do think that they did some PR work as soon as they made that trade, because there was issues with Luka. We're not naive enough to think that Luka had no issues. He got Rick Carlisle fired, or made him quit, one or the other. He made Rick Carlisle quit, but he also took you to the
Rick
finals.
Carlisle, hey, you lucky I'm not playing tonight. I'll cut your ass when they played the Pacers. And just to give y'all a little check-in, they are beating the Utah Jazz 63-41 at halftime. And Luka's having a regular game. Bron having a regular game.
Bron got 11, 5, and 3. Ain't no regular game. It's going to be 22, 10, and 6. I guess that's a regular Bron game.
Right.
But but look at Austin Reeves, plus 17. All of a sudden, Austin Reeves ain't got to worry about nothing. Just go out there and be the great white hype and score. That's all we need you to do. We don't need you to pass the ball. We don't need you to play no defense.
Rui Hashimashi, he get out there, hey, I'm the fourth option. And I'm a competent basketball player. Like Rudy's not like great.
Hashimashi. Martin Hashitachi.
But if by the time they swing the ball to me, and we have 2 elite passers on this floor now, I want you to be very confident about that. Bron and Luka.
And everybody else play defense. DFS, Jared Vanderbilt, and all of a sudden Gabe Vincent hitting threes. Like,
yeah, because he can't go back to Miami. I ain't going back to Miami, so I'm gonna just have to make this work in LA. I'm available for work. I really think the Gabe's plan was to just go back to Miami and everything will be cool because I was really good there. And I think that Miami still might be interested in him because I think that he fits that system. Oh, you ain't paying him?
I ain't never going back to Miami. For who? What they got? I ain't going back there with Wiggins.
They going they are the Pips. That's all they are.
It's Bam. Ain't nobody come see you, Otis.
No. Bam is a Pip too. All of these guys are second options. But as far as this trade goes, tell me what you grade this trade, Reggie. Wait, and do you want to do grades or you just want to do pass fail? Sometimes they just pass fail.
Man, the Lakers got an A++. You got off AD, who immediately got injured. You have a future in Luka for the next 10 years at least. He's only like 24.
New jersey to sell too. That's the part that y'all don't get.
Hey, I'm talking about just basketball. You get LeBron out of there, so now you're going to have cap space. You did lose out. You got Dalton Connect back, which he may not be happy, but shit. Now you got another spot-up shooter. The Lakers quietly have become like the house of great white hype. Dalton Connect, Austin Reeves, and Luka.
Kendrick, I don't know if you can crip walk to that, but but what I'm saying is, and I still think that they part ways with one of those guys. I'm gonna tell you, I'd probably be more interested in trading Austin Reeves than Dalton Connect. Austin Reeves already on the contract. I get Dalton Connect cheaper to be
bigger Austin Reeves.
Right.
I give the Lakers an A++. I give the Mavs an expulsion, an incomplete. You don't even deserve a grade. Get out the classroom. What's the word for enroll? Unenroll, transfer, go back a grade, go to summer school, go to community college so you can get your GPA back up. You ever
failed one test and they said you should probably you'd be better off at a community college or a junior college. This place where you're at, this is an institution, you ain't gonna make it out of here. And now, and the part that is craziest and most fitting to me is Anthony Davis being put it together.
The first game,
a monster game.
Half.
Let's
monster
3/4.
Half.
It was like 3/4, I think. But and I'm pulling it up now. 26 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists. Gone with lost to a non-contact injury. That's the most Anthony Davis shit that you could do is play out of your mind and then just nobody touch you and then you got to go down. So I don't feel bad for the Mavs. Nico, and I put it in the group chat earlier today. The only person who probably feels worse about life than you is the GM for the New York Giants. Yeah. That's a rough place to be.
Tinfoil moment. Had this conversation with my dad because he was so flabbergasted he can't even fathom any NBA contracts right now because when he played basketball, contracts was $10,000 a year. So
a lot of people don't know role players get paid $15 million now.
But he was so flabbergasted. He was like, no sane man makes this trade without outside influences. He thinks the Lakers paid him off. He thinks that this was some under the table type stuff for this to happen because the Lakers they had no pivot from LeBron. The Lakers have to be a staple of the league for the league to work.
So they did not have a pivot, but we've seen the Lakers kind of go down and out too now. We've seen it with our own eyes where they're just 10 types of terrible. that after Kobe time, before LeBron, like, it was bad. Now it was real bad for a minute.
Yeah. But they always, the Lakers never draft well. They always pivot to the next star. What they have never done is pivoted to the next star while having the star.
Right. That was the reason I don't assume that Nico would do that is
just like that. Luka 11-3-3. Okay, right out of
when
that.
when they fire you, there's not a clear path to another job. Like this,
which is why he got paid under the table. You know that if you make this trade, you can never have another job.
This is like the GM for the Giants. Like, we're just waiting for that guy to get fired, and then nobody ever hire him again because we have the clip of, boy, I'm going to be sick if Saquon signs. Like, that's that guy's whole career in a nutshell. I don't know what he did before. I don't know what he did after. But you have been summed
Yes, you do. You know what he did after? Nothing.
Or he got fired and go home. And that's the bad part. They didn't even, the Giants so stupid. After you be that dumb, they still didn't fire you. It's like, come on back to work so we can fire you next year. But that guy's career has been summed up into 30 seconds of the dumbest thing that you could do. This is what, and the bad part is, say what you want to about Nico. Nico has actually had an extremely fantastic career. He was the guy that put Nike together. At one point, he was the guy who had LeBron, KD, Kobe, and Russell all under the Nike or Jordan brand. That was him. His bag. When Nike was at its, really honestly, the last time that Nike was unstoppable, he was the guy. That's how he got this job.
So he also, his last project before he moved on, his last project was to get Steph Curry.
He was not getting Steph Curry. Steph Curry, they offered him $2.5 million. Under Armour offered him.
He gave, allegedly, that's cool, you offer more money. But Steph Curry, while he is about the money, there's also other facets of signing a deal. You don't call Seth multiple times.
He didn't do that. Somebody else did that, but the only person
whatever, that's your team. You're a representation of you. That's you. You're a representation of you.
No. But what I'm saying is, he wasn't the person who did it, but they didn't know the other person who did it, so you become the guy who gets it.
Exactly. As a team leader, if your team messes up, you are to blame.
You're right. But
2, you showed them the presentation that you gave Kevin Durant and still had Kevin Durant's name in the presentation. That's, egregious.
That's cool, but I personally don't think that, you already had this, like, you had Kobe, LeBron, KD, and Russ. There's only so many slots for a guy. So you have Under Armour who can throw, I think they said $4-5 million, and I think they probably gave him some ownership because
equity.
Yeah. And you're dealing
a Jordan
with
deal, if I'm not mistaken. They gave him a Jordan type deal.
Yeah, you're dealing with the Currys. We ain't broke. We're not poor. So it's not like you just like, oh, well, here you go, and you take this 2.5, and this all we got. No. I know all of these people. My dad knows all of you guys. Yeah. So no, we're gonna take the money and the ownership. And remember, this is when Under Armour is kind of like, and he's the god of Under Armour. Good, better, and different. He probably got 40% of that.
That's fair. But you put yourself in this situation by making this dumbass move. Now everything that you've done is going to be overanalyzed
and I don't like that. I
That's
don't like that.
It's life.
It is. Players fuck up, but I don't think that you should be.
No. Players fuck up, but not like this. Not like this. You traded away Luka?
You're right.
No. So
trading away Luka is one of the most egregious things.
I've heard.
It's not that you traded away Luka. I think that they're
And
like,
trade him
if
to the
you
Lakers.
trade Luka, there you go. If you trade Luka to Utah, it's like, okay, cool, whatever. Trading him and creating, like, you also are a Nike guy. You have to be able to do a SWOT analysis on Luka when he goes, and you didn't. The part where he really lost it for me is you didn't even take other offers. You and what do I tell you all the time? You never arm your enemies. This is your biggest enemy. Excuse me. And you gave him the Adam Silver has never probably been happier to approve a trade in his life. I don't have to deal with John Morant ever again.
But
John Morant, you got it. John Morant, get it how you live, bro. You
Chris
can stay
Paul
in
fighting air
shoot,
right now.
shoot guns and do whatever you want to. You can sit over there. That stupid ass. He pissed me off when he put that shiesty mask on, bro. They're trying to rehab your image, and you're wearing a shiesty mask on.
That boy about to go to China. He about to have his Kyrie's. The Ja 12 is gonna be in China made. Just like the Dwayne Wade's, all of them.
And Adam Silver is like, oh, I will love Fat Luka. If the only issue I have with my superstar is he's out of shape, I've seen Charles Barkley before. Charles Barkley sells some shoes.
And that's what I was saying about Chris Paul is Chris Paul got to be fighting air right now.
Well, Chris Paul's situation a little bit different. That people got
situation.
to like.
I know the situation. I know that the NBA owned the Hornets, but the deal was done, and then they came in. Adam Silver. Remember, the deal was done. Everybody else affiliated with that deal was okay with the trade, and then not Adam Silver. David Stern came in and was like, just nah.
Yes.
He just said nah.
No. Chris Paul's agent announced the deal before the NBA had a chance to vote on the deal. So since the deal wasn't voted on, it was canceled because it was already done. Chris Paul's agent is the reason that did not happen.
Well, also, I mean, David Stern has also he did interviews saying, I looked at it and was like, nah, this doesn't bode well for the New Orleans franchise. But I say all that to say now you're allowing Dallas to sing.
Got Zion, porn star.
Now you're allowing the number. Who's the best player in the NBA right now? Joker. So you're allowing the number 2 or 3 player in the league to go to LA.
The best player, player is probably SGA at this very moment.
Okay,
he's the best, but
Luka's number 3.
Right, and
at worst 5.
Luka's the only one that's in a big market. All the big market teams don't have a superstar. None of them. So, like New York, Jalen Brunson, cool. Jalen Brunson don't sell sneakers. Miami, y'all ain't got nothing over there to sell.
He wearing the Asia Brandleys. I mean, Asia.
Right. You want to know who sells sneakers in Miami? Our center's girlfriend. That's who sells sneakers
Houston,
in Miami.
Atlanta, New York, LA. Yeah, I mean, there's really, I mean, it's Luka.
Now you get to sell these little white children 77 jerseys?
Again.
Woo!
I'm telling you, 10-4 hat. They made this happen. Adam Silver and all them saw this. And also, and this will be the pin because we got to talk about these other trades and we got some Hawks talk. Also, the fact that, again, apparently, and I don't know if this is true, the new owners are at odds with the city of Dallas about the casino or something like that.
Okay, so I can explain that simply. Mark Cuban divested. I think he divested in a long-term plan because the Adelson family they're based out, I think, Las Vegas. They have always been for gaming. Texas is one of the few places where you can't do like the online gaming, and then there are no casinos here. If you want a casino, you gotta go to Oklahoma. And for Dallas, that's like 45 minutes, so it ain't super far. But everybody sees what the Atlanta Braves have done with the Battery. You want to create your own self-contained entertainment plaza. And for them, the self-contained entertainment plaza has sports betting, casinos, etc. So they're trying to influence that so they can get that. That's cool, but that's their primary focus. I don't think by their moves, they don't give a damn about basketball itself. They're here for money only.
Well, that's the wrong state to do that. Let me tell you about Governor Abbott.
Well, no. He's kind of backed up off of that. And from what he said is he wants to let the state decide. And I think he kind of wants to let municipalities decide whether they're going to have it or not. Because I know Jerry's online with this. You think that after you got Jerry World, you can't slap a casino next to that? And a hotel and a resort? Oh, man. All day.
It's gonna be interesting. They already came out and said we are not moving to Las Vegas. They already came out and said that.
Hold on. Let me also clear that up. There's not a world for the Dallas Mavericks to move to Las Vegas. That ain't happening. Adam Silver is looking for expansion. He's going to put a team in Las Vegas, but he's not. Dallas is still like the 5th, 6th biggest market in the country. This team, they're not going to go without. They're just going to add. So if they thought that they were going to negotiate, we'll just go to Las Vegas, the hell you will. The guy who's going to get Las Vegas, I think, is LeBron James.
Yeah, we already know. We know
and
that's the play. He's already said it.
I think that play that's a handshake deal. And I think LeBron already got his money. Whenever I retire, that's when y'all going to make Vegas available, and then Seattle will get their team, and then Memphis or the Pelicans will move to the East. You can't negotiate with that. Y'all are cool and y'all got all this going on. You're not negotiating against LeBron James as an owner. You ain't gonna win.
So we're gonna see how this plays out. We already know how it's gonna play out. The Mavs are about to be out of there. And if I will say I've never seen a trade where the next day or in the next 2 days an assistant coach is just like, nah, I'm out. This is not what I signed up for. My man said,
well, I shoot a little bail on that because he is Slovenian. So he's I'm
not blaming him for nothing. I'm just saying that this was such a dumbass move that you didn't even think how this would affect everybody else in your org. They lost by 41 points the very next game. That was by 41 points.
But I think that he's a guy who's probably only on the roster because Luka said, hey, I need you to hire this. Yeah. So, Luka's not here? I would not be surprised if that guy is a Laker here soon. Hey, we finna see you some stuff right now.
Yeah. And, of course, that trade that didn't go through was interesting. But, I mean, they do need a big man. But, I mean, again, Luka's, 24? So,
yes. But
yeah.
Thank you for tuning into the latest episode of the Splashcast, your go-to podcast for news and discussion in the world of sports. This show is produced by Creative Logic Solutions. Whether the project is big or small, let Creative Logic Solutions help bring your vision to life. Catch our latest episodes and stay updated with the world of sports by tuning in to the podcast live on Mondays or catch the re-air on Dive Team Media Network, where you can also check out other Dive Team Media content as well. For collaboration, booking information, or any other inquiries, visit our website at www.thesplashcast.com. Every listen, share, and review is appreciated. Until next time.
What should they do? Like, follow, subscribe. Thank you, my friend. Be here for it.